Commander Elias Brand looked out the small window of the dauntless Resolve. Before him, the strange purple-blue stars of the Quaraxis system shone softly. This part of space was quiet, or so they thought. For months, their mission was to explore new worlds for Earth and find allies or resources. The dauntless Resolve was a strong ship, built to handle danger. Elias had led many missions before, but something felt different this time. The silence of space was strange, almost too calm. Suddenly, the ship's sensors beeped loudly. "Commander," said Lieutenant Kim, the ship's science officer. "We are detecting unusual energy readings nearby. Something large is approaching." Elias's heart beat faster. "Bring it up on the main screen." A large alien warship appeared on the screen. It was unlike anything humans had seen before. Long, with sharp edges and glowing red lights, it looked dangerous. Elias took a deep breath. "Open communications, let's see who they are." The ship's speaker crackled, then a voice came through. It was not a voice humans had ever heard. Deep, powerful, and full of authority. "This is Queen Zarjala of the Sirothi Empire. Identify yourself." Elias straightened. "I am Commander Elias Brand of Earth. We come in peace, seeking friendship and knowledge." There was silence. Then Zarjala's voice came again, colder this time. "Peace? You enter our space without warning. Many do not survive such disrespect." Elias knew this was no ordinary greeting. The Sirothi were famous for being proud and fierce. Their empire ruled many star systems with strength and honor. "Commander," said the ship's tactician, "they may see this as a challenge. We should prepare for battle." Elias nodded. "Alert the crew. We will defend ourselves if needed, but I want to try talking first." Minutes passed. Then, the alien queen's voice echoed again. "To prove your strength and respect, you must face a trial. Defeat my champion in combat and I will accept you as my equal and mate." The crew was silent. Elias's eyes widened. "Mate? What does she mean?" The communications officer replied, "In Sirothi culture, mating is not just about love. It is a political and biological bond. It means power, trust, and alliance." Elias rubbed his chin. This was bigger than he thought. If he accepted, it would change everything. But refusing might lead to war. "Prepare for the trial," Elias said. "I will accept." The ship's crew went to work. The dauntless Resolve entered the Sirothi space station orbiting the planet Cyrex. The station was massive, built with dark metal and glowing orange lights, shaped like a great spider in space. On the station, Elias met Queen Zarjala in person. She was tall and regal, with sharp eyes that seemed to look into his soul. Her skin was a deep blue and she wore armor that looked both beautiful and deadly. "Human," she said. "Do you understand what you risk?" "I do," Elias answered. "But I will prove myself, not just for me, but for Earth." The Queen nodded. "Very well. The trial will be in the arena, a place where strength and honor are tested." Elias trained for days. The Sirothi warriors taught him their fighting style, a mix of martial arts and energy weapons. The gravity on Cyrex's station was lighter than Earth's, making movement tricky but fast. His opponent was a champion named Garax, a giant of a warrior, half machine and half alien, bred only for fighting. The entire station watched as the day of the duel arrived. The arena was a floating platform in zero gravity, orbiting the planet below. The crowd roared as Elias stepped forward. Garax growled, his metal claws shining. The fight began. Elias used his speed and cleverness to avoid Garax's powerful strikes. He dodged, rolled, and used his environment to his advantage. Slowly, he found openings. With a quick move, Elias disabled one of Garax's arms. The giant stumbled. The crowd gasped. In a final effort, Elias launched himself forward and pinned the champion to the ground. Silence. Then, the Queen's voice filled the arena. "You have proven your strength, human. You are worthy." Elias breathed, heavily, looking up at Zarjala. Now you must choose. Will you stand beside me as mate and ally, or walk away and risk war? Elias felt the weight of the moment. The future of two species rested on his answer. The victory over the rebels had brought temporary peace, but the Serothi Empire was far from safe. Commander Elias Brand and Queen Zarjala both knew new dangers waited in the shadows. Their enemies were cunning and would not give up easily. In the deep silence of space near the moon Cyrex, the dauntless Resolve drifted, its crew alert. Elias stood on the bridge, watching the stars. His mind was heavy with worry. The battle had been won, but now a different threat was coming. One that could destroy everything they fought for. Lieutenant Kim approached, her face serious. Commander, our sensors have detected a strange signal coming from the outer sectors. It's not like anything we've seen before. Elias frowned. What kind of signal? Kim shook her head. It's biological, some kind of weapon, but it attacks DNA. It could be aimed at you and the Queen. Elias's heart tightened. A bioweapon? That's dangerous, for both humans and Serothi. The news spread quickly through the Queen's court. The council gathered in the throne room, their faces grim. Queen Zarjala stood tall. If this weapon is real, it threatens the very life of our people. And of you, Elias. We must act fast, Elias said. We need to find the source and stop it before it spreads. The Queen nodded. Prepare the fleet. I will join you. Elias and Zarjala led a combined human Serothi fleet into the dark reaches of the outer sectors. Their ships moved silently through the void, searching for the bioweapons base. The crew worked day and night, scanning planets, asteroids, and space stations. The tension was high. Everyone knew that failure meant death. Finally, sensors picked up a hidden base on a small moon orbiting a gas giant. It was well hidden, shielded from normal scans. Elias ordered an attack. We will strike quickly and take them by surprise. The fleet moved in formation. Fighters darted forward, blasting enemy turrets and defenses. Elias led a small team in a stealth ship to land on the moon and destroy the bioweapon core. On the ground, the air was cold and thin. Elias and his team moved carefully through dark tunnels filled with strange machines and glowing tubes. Suddenly, alarms blared. Enemy soldiers appeared, armed and ready. A fierce firefight broke out. Elias used every skill he had learned, from Earth and from the Serothi, to fight. He dodged blasts, took cover, and returned fire with precision. As they reached the bioweapon core, a large chamber filled with glowing green liquid, Elias saw the horror of the weapon. It was designed to attack the DNA of anyone near it, causing pain, sickness, and death. He knew time was running out. Plant the charges, he shouted. We must destroy this place. The team worked fast, setting explosives on the core's power source. Enemy reinforcements closed in. Elias fought fiercely, protecting his team. Queen Zarjala's warriors arrived in time, joining the battle and turning the tide. Together, human and Serothi fought side by side. The charges exploded, shaking the moon. The bioweapon core was destroyed in a bright flash. Elias breathed heavily, feeling relief. But the victory was bittersweet. Many brave warriors had fallen. Back on the dauntless Resolve, Elias and Zarjala stood together, looking out at the stars. This war was a choice, Elias said quietly. A choice to fight for life, for hope. The Queen smiled. And you made the right one. The bond between them grew stronger, not just in battle, but in trust and respect. Together they were ready to face the future, no matter what dangers came next. The battle to destroy the bioweapon base was over, but the war for the Serothi Empire's future was just beginning. Commander Elias Brand and Queen Zarjala stood side by side on the bridge of the dauntless Resolve, watching the purple-blue stars of the Coraxis system. Their journey had been difficult. They faced enemies, danger, and uncertainty. But they had also found something rare, a bond of trust and hope between two very different species. The Queen turned to Elias. You have proven yourself not just in battle, but in heart and mind. The Empire respects you now. Elias smiled softly. It is because of you and your people that I stand here. We are stronger together. Back on Cyrex, the Empire was rebuilding. The old warlords were defeated or had joined the Queen's cause. New leaders emerged, inspired by the union of human courage and Serothi strength. The people looked to Elias and Zarjala as symbols of a new era, one where different worlds could come together for peace and progress. But not all threats were gone. Far beyond the borders of the Serothi Empire, other powers watched the rise of this unlikely alliance with suspicion and fear. Some whispered of war. Elias and Zarjala knew they must prepare not only to defend their empire but to reach out to other civilizations. In the palace gardens, Elias and Zarjala performed the ancient Serothi mating ritual. It was a sacred ceremony that would bond their lives and strength together, symbolizing their union and commitment. The ritual was both beautiful and powerful. Light surrounded them as their energies joined. Elias felt a warmth unlike anything he had known before. He was no longer just human. He was part of the Serothi too. After the ceremony, the Queen addressed the people. This bond is a promise that we will stand together, face our challenges, and build a future of hope. The crowd cheered, their voices echoing through the great halls of the palace. In the following days, Elias worked to build bridges. He met with diplomats from other star systems, sharing stories of their journey and hopes for peace. He knew it would take time, but he believed that with courage and trust, even the deepest divides could be healed. Late one night, Elias looked out at the stars, thinking of Earth and the people he left behind. He missed his home, but he knew his place was here now, with Zarjala, with the Serothi. He whispered to the stars, "This is only the beginning." The future was uncertain, but filled with promise. Together, human and alien, queen and commander, they would face whatever came next. Because true strength was not just in battle or power, but in the courage to unite and the hope to dream. Lord Commander Riley Grant walked into the Great Hall of the Galactic Assembly. The room was huge and filled with strange creatures from many different planets. Some had 6 arms, others had shining scales, and some even floated in the air. It was a place where all the strongest and smartest beings from the galaxy came to talk and make rules. Riley was from Earth, one of the newest members of the Assembly. Humans were still learning about many things in this huge galaxy. Riley had been sent as Earth's diplomat. His job was to talk with the aliens and help Earth get along with them. Today was a special day. The Assembly was having a big meeting to celebrate peace and friendship between planets. Many leaders were there, including the ruler of the Tashar Collective. The Tashar were known for being very serious and strong. They never made friends with other species before. Riley felt nervous, but excited. He looked at the crowd and smiled. He wanted to show that humans were friendly and happy to be there. When the leader of the Assembly asked everyone to raise a glass and make a gesture of goodwill, Riley did something without thinking. He lifted his hand and made a quick sign with his fingers. It was a mix of a peace sign and a rock-on symbol, something popular on Earth. For humans, it meant good vibes or cheers. It was just a fun way to say hello. At first, no one reacted. But then, Riley noticed the strange looks. The room grew very quiet. Some creatures stared at him with wide eyes. Others backed away slowly. The Tashar leader, High Matriarch Visari, froze, her many eyes fixed on Riley's hand. Suddenly, a loud silence took over. No one moved or spoke. Riley didn't understand what was wrong. Then a voice echoed in his mind. It was calm but very serious. "You have made the ancient bonding gesture." Riley looked around. No one else seemed to hear the voice. He blinked. The voice spoke again. "This gesture is a sacred sign of joining souls. It is binding and unbreakable." Riley's heart began to beat faster. He had no idea that this simple hand sign had such power for the Tishar. Matriarch Visari stepped forward slowly. Her voice was cold but steady. "By making this gesture, you have bonded yourself to me and to the Tashar Collective." Riley felt a strange feeling, like something invisible was pulling him toward the matriarch. He tried to pull back, but his body did not respond. Bonding means your souls are linked, Visari explained. We share our strengths, our thoughts, and our destinies. Riley swallowed hard. This was not what he expected from a simple greeting. He had just wanted to be friendly. The assembly chamber was tense. Some species began whispering to each other. A few looked afraid. The Tashar were known to be fierce warriors and very proud. Riley's translator beeped with an urgent message. Lieutenant, Commander Grant, this bonding is recognized by the Galactic Codex. It creates a legal and spiritual tie that affects not just you, but your entire planet. Earth is now part of Tashar politics and laws. Riley's eyes widened. This was bigger than any mistake he could imagine. He looked at the matriarch. Can this be undone? He asked quietly. She shook her head. Only by mutual agreement. But our people have never bonded with outsiders before. We do not give up bonds lightly. Riley felt a heavy weight on his chest. Earth was now involved in an ancient and powerful relationship it did not understand. The leaders in the assembly started to murmur loudly. Some species saw this as a threat. Others saw an opportunity. A tall insect-like ambassador stepped forward, his voice sharp. This accident changes everything. The Tashar are one of the oldest powers in the galaxy. Earth is now their bonded ally. This will shift alliances and trade. We must prepare for consequences. Riley knew trouble was coming. He had made a simple human gesture, but it had caused intergalactic chaos. The assembly called for emergency meetings. Warships were put on alert. Markets began to drop. Planets far away discussed whether to trust Earth or fear it. Riley spent the night in his quarters, thinking deeply. He felt responsible for all this confusion. The next morning, the matriarch arrived at his door. Her expression was softer than before. We will teach you our ways, she said. You must learn what bonding truly means. It may be the key to peace or war. Riley nodded, feeling the weight of a new destiny. The hand gesture was just the start of a journey he never expected, one that would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever.